Hi, Michael and Audrey Sahota here.
Hi, Happy New Year.
We're here to talk about, we just got off our call with our Cal 1 graduates worldwide, and we want to share some of the highlights. Here we're going to talk to you about how to influence others and how to grow yourself and your leadership to get the outcomes that you want. That's up for today. So let's start at the first place, how to influence others. Graduates of our training know that the secret to creating influence is to actually use Agile. It's to actually use pull, not push. It turns out when we push, we create all sorts of resistance, all sorts of challenges. If you're getting a no to a question that's important for you, it means you're probably pushing. Now, one of the things that came up is like, well, how do we actually go into pull mode? How do we actually make the mental switch? And one thing that we share is to ask yourself this question. Am I asking this person or this group, it could be a team, it could be an executive you're working with, am I asking them a real question? Is it okay for them to say no? And if it's not okay for them to say no, it's not a real question, that you're actually trying to push your answer, what you want to have happen, instead of listening to them to what they want. Now, even if we know that, become aware of that, oh, I'm pushing now, well, how do you actually create pull? Well, someone on our call today actually shared like a great secret, which is this. Just imagine the person that you're working with or the group you're working with, and imagine what would have to happen for them to want to pull my help, for them to want to make the change that I think would be really good for this organization. What would have to happen? What sequence of events? And when we shift that, it automatically pulls us into listen mode, into pull mode. It's like, well, what motivates them? What's important for them? What's on their mind? And when we shift from our perspective, what's important for us, to what's their perspective, what's important for them, that's how we can help get ourselves into pull mode. Okay, so how do we do that though? How do we actually shift our behavior? How do we actually go to this place of shifting our mindset to a different way of working? We know that how we show up is actually what matters most. Not what skills we have, not what insights we have, it's actually how we show up. How we're actually modeling the Agile mindset, or you're a teal fan, how we model a teal way of working. If we're not actually able to do that fully, we're not going to get the success we want. If people aren't coming to us for help and pulling us into situations and asking for advice and looking to us as a leader, that means we're not actually probably acting in ways that inspire them to look to us for help. So the way to get the influence you want is to show up in ways where people want to get your help. Part of that is showing up as a theory Y worker, being engaged, motivated, not in emotional charges or disturbances, not annoyed, not frustrated. And what that means is really about putting the oxygen mask on yourself first, to grow yourself, to show up the way you want, to model the changes you want to see. That's how we get inspired other people to follow us and start showing up the same way we are. And what does it really take to change our mindset, to change our behaviors, to change our habits? It's hard work. It's very hard work. And the good news is that every little step we take on the journey helps. Every little shift we make makes a difference. If every day for the next month you do a little bit less damage, you do a little bit less red list, a little bit less push, a little bit more green list, a little bit more inviting, a little bit more listening, you're going to see results. So we don't need to recast ourselves completely, transform ourselves into this totally new way of working. We can take incremental baby steps to move ourselves in this direction. And the good news is as we take each baby step, we're going to see results.
I have something.
Go.
Okay. So the next time that you feel that you're in a push, or you have an agenda, you want something to happen, check inside. Go inside first and ask yourself, what is really going on with me? Why do I want this to happen? What's my agenda? And I guarantee you that behind all of that within your body, there will be an uncomfortable feeling. And this uncomfortable feeling, if you sit with it and ask, what is this? A lot of times people are in survival mode. They're anxious about their job, their position. There's something else that is going on an emotional level, on a psychological level that we don't even really truly understand until we stop ourselves and just sit with what's going on and ask ourselves, what's here? What's here right now? Why do I want this thing to happen? It could be for anything, but it's you're trying to gain influence, you want your teams to perform better, you're working on an initiative and things aren't going very well. It could be that you want your children to brush their teeth. It could be personal, it could be for your career. But just take a moment to ask yourself what's going on.
So we've actually written a book, Emotional Science, specifically for this purpose, to help us become aware of our emotional charges and how that's actually disturbing and not letting us show up the way we want to, how it's actually getting us in the way of creating the outcomes we want. So if you haven't already picked it up, we highly recommend that as a way to support and accelerate your mindset shift, your shift to a different way of working so you can create even more extraordinary results around you. The other part that I'll mention here is around self-care. One thing that we talk about and model to the best of our ability is showing up as a theory why worker, motivated, engaged, and clear of emotional disturbances. So not frustrated, not annoyed, not irritated.
No matter what's going on.
No matter what's going on. That's the challenge. It's like hard to do that, right? But the more, every little shift we can do towards a more resourced, positive state, people will want to be around us. They'll want our help because we're not getting annoyed at them. We're not irritated. We're not frustrated, right? When we show up as that person who's a good person to be around all the time, people just automatically start seeing your help. So that's how to create influence. But the secret here is self-care. What is self-care? It's put the oxygen mask on yourself first. It's the other meaning of that. So put the oxygen mask on yourself first before helping someone else. Well, what does that mean about self-care? Well, it means making sure you're in that resourced, positive state and doing whatever you need to do. It might be doing your morning exercise. It could be your morning meditation. It could be taking a break at work to go outside in nature, get some fresh air. That might be the most productive thing you can do. Because if you're not in a resource state, you're probably just going to cause damage. So becoming self-aware, knowing what state you're in, and getting yourself back into a resource state is one of the most important self-leadership things you can do. That is a necessary thing for you to do before you can actually lead others, before you can influence others. So for a lot of our graduates who are very successful, they understand this principle. They take time. They take time for reflection. They take time to think through situations that are coming up, important meetings, to see if they're clear of emotional disturbances, emotional charges, so they're actually able fully to listen, to be fully present. So please take a moment to notice, how much time do you spend each day on your own inner state, on your own ability to be present and show up as the leader that you want to be? So thanks very much for joining us.
Happy New Year.
It's been a pleasure, and look forward to sharing these updates with you.